Hello, Algebra 1. This is Mrs. Stites, and I am so sorry I'm not here with you today to review for your quiz, but I am here in spirit, and we are going to do this wonderful review together. So the first thing we're going to do is find the slope and the y-intercept from each of these representations. We have a table, we have a graph, and we have a function rule. All right, so I'm actually going to start with my y-intercept because I think that's the easiest. The y-intercept is always where x is 0, so I'm just going to go ahead and find that location in the table, and that is just 0, -6. Now my slope is the same as my rate, and that's when I go ahead and I do my jumps. So I have from 8 to -6, that's going to be up, or excuse me, it's not going to be up, it's going to be down 14, because I went from a positive to a negative. And -2 to 0, that's up 2. And if you don't want to deal with the negatives there, it's okay. You can come down here if you want. You can do any of the jumps. This is also down 14, and you can see 2 to 4. It's a little easier to go up to. Please remember, it is always the y jumps divided by the x jumps. So -14 divided by 2, and that is a -7. Okay, please reduce. All right, next, number 2. So the slope on a graph, we either go up and over or down and over, but first you want to figure out what your line is doing. So this line is decreasing. That means automatically I'm going to have a negative slope. Don't forget about that. Okay, guarantee people are going to forget about that. All right, so now that I've got my negative, I know this line is going downhill. Now I'm going to choose 2 points and go down and over. And this is down 1, that's where that negative comes from, over 4. And so this is a -1 over 4. You can go ahead and math frac that, but it's going to give you the same answer. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where x is 0. Okay, that's what we talked about here. And again, that's on the y-axis. So right here, and that, we're going to say it's a 0, 5. It's kind of in the middle, but let's go with 0, 5. All right, and then finally, number 3, when we take a function rule, our slope is always the number with the independent variable, or a lot of times it's an x. In this case, it's a v, so our slope is just 7. Our y-intercept is the other number, but please make sure you have that 0, comma. All right, there are your first 3. Let's go on to number 4. At Macy's, 3 collared shirts cost $30.75, while 10 collared shirts cost $102.50. Some of you might choose to just write 2 ordered pairs. I'm going to make a table. I have money and I have shirts. I know that money or cost is always dependent, so I'm going to put that over here. And that means my shirts will be independent. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the table. 3 shirts was $30.75, and 10 shirts is $102.50. And then you can either do your slope formula or you can do your jumps. It is up to you. You should get the same thing either way. So I know that 3 to 10 is up 7. I'm going to use my calculator. If it will load, it's coming. It's almost there. You've probably already typed it in at this point. Meanwhile, I'm still waiting. Should have probably cut this part out of the video, but I didn't do it. Okay. All right, here we go. 102.50 minus 30.75. All right, so that's $71.75. How much do, oh, well, okay, I guess we're really answering this question now. How much does each shirt cost? So that's asking us to find the rate or the slope, which means you need to divide these 2 numbers. And so divide by 7. And that's going to be $10.25 per shirt. Okay, $10.25 per shirt, or you can write per. All right, please make sure you have those units. Okay, $10.25 per shirt. All right, next we're going to find the slope of the following points. Draw the line that matches this slope. Now, you can definitely go ahead and do the slope just like we did in number 4 with your jumps. Because I already did the jumps, I'm going to go ahead and use the slope formula now. And remember, you have your foldable. All right, so this formula should be written on your foldable. And x1, y1, x2, y2. So all we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to subtract our y's, -8 minus 6, over subtract your x's, 15 minus 15. -8 minus 6 is -14. 15 minus 15 is 0. And if you don't remember, literally just type it in. Watch what happens. I'm going to get an error. That means that this is an undefined slope. We do want to write undefined. And then what type of line has an undefined slope? It is vertical. All right, let's try it one more time. x1, y1, x2, y2. We're going to take our y minus our y. So 18 minus 18 over our x minus our x. -2 minus 3. 18 minus 18 is 0 over -5. And when you type 0 divided by -5 into your calculator, you just get a 0. Look, I'll show you. What type of line has a slope of 0? A horizontal line. All right, last two. Sammy has $1,000 and is going to save $150 per week. So your slope is like your rate. It's what's happening over and over again, and that's your $150 per week. Saving means it's going to be a positive $150. Now, be careful. If this said spend, that would mean that it would be negative. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. What's your y-intercept? Well, your y-intercept is like your starting point. It's how much money that you started with, which is 1,000. Again, make sure you have your 0 comma. All right, and finally, our last type of problem. This is what we learned about yesterday. So this is a different type of problem because we're finding the coordinate when you're given your slope. So remember, your slope formula looks like this. So even if you're someone who does jumps, this is unfortunately really the only way you can do this. So we're going to do y minus y over x minus x, and we're going to set it equal to your slope. This negative, I would put that up top with the 3. All right, then you're going to see, is there anything that I can actually simplify in this? Yes, I can do 8 minus 4. So let's rewrite that. This top stays the same. 8 minus 4 is 4. Okay, and now we're going to cross multiply. So this one's going to distribute 4 times -10 minus y equals 4 times -3 is -12. Distribute. 4 times -10 is -40. 4 times -y is -4y. And now from here, we are solving like normal. We're going to add our 40 over. And -4y equals, this is going to be a 28. And last step, divide by your -4. And I'm kind of out of room, but you're going to get y equals -7. All right, so here's what you're going to do now. The first thing you're going to do is you're either going to raise your hand and politely call the sub over to you, or you're going to get up and you're going to go to them and say, why, hello, wonderful sub who is replacing Mrs. Stites for the day. Here is my beautiful note sheet that I have completed. And they're going to check you off so that you can get points for it because I appreciate your cooperation while I am absent. All right. Then once you do that, you're going to go ahead to your homework packet. You're going to find worksheet 11. Oh, it looks something like this. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to work on worksheet 11. Now, the only people who should not be working on worksheet 11 are people who have some missing work. So for example, if for some reason worksheet 10 didn't get completed last night, because you were like, oh, Mrs. Stites isn't going to be here. I don't feel like doing it. Well, guess what? You should work on worksheet 10 because I'm going to be checking it when I come back on Monday. You have a quiz on Monday. You can use your foldable that we filled out the other day, but you are not going to be able to use any of your other notes. All right, so if for some reason this foldable didn't get filled out, there should be extras up at the front of the room, or borrow your friends and fill it out. All right. I will be back on Monday. Please come see me in the morning if you have any questions, or go to the resource room if you have questions before your quiz. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and have a great day. Bye.